Well, I couldn't resist it. We're going to play Chesterfield on today's episode for the final game of the season, followed by the season review. I wonder if they'll do a guard of honour. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 23 of One Team, One Dream, Into the Woods. My name is James, and on today's episode we have that final game of the season, our first and technically last game as National League champions at home against Chesterfield. They are also confirmed in the playoffs, so there's a small chance we might be facing them again next season. Be quite cool if they do follow us up the leagues, but I'll be perfectly happy to leave them down here as we move up into League 2. Since the last episode, I've been doing a little bit of scouting in terms of players to look to bring in over the summer. And actually, we already have confirmed 2 which are coming in June. We have first Shay Charles, who is a 18-year-old Northern Irish right back, and he can also play centre back. He is 6'2". He has 4.5-star current ability with a full 5-star potential ability. He is one of the best players we've got currently at full back, but also one of the best players we've got at centre back as well. I will cover more on him on the next episode when I cover the transfer window as a whole. And we also have Reece Bennett, who is an 18-year-old English centre back. He has a 95 scouting rating, 4-star current ability, 5-star potential ability, 4.5 of which are in fact yellow stars. He is 6'1". He has come in as another centre-back option. We will be losing Fifield in the summer, and so bringing in another centre-back option was something I definitely wanted to do. Not only did I want the young prospects at the club that we've currently got, but we're also now looking to bring in a higher quality of player like this, who not only would do a good job at this level, but also will be able to do a good job, hopefully do a good job at Football League level as well when we move into League 2. So those are the first 2 that are going to be coming in June. I guarantee there'll be more to follow, both in and out. But let's get into the final match of the season as we face Chesterfield. Obviously, it is fairly meaningless at this point. We are literally going out there for pride. But definitely, I think a win over Chesterfield would definitely cap off what has been a fantastic season. So we have made a couple of changes as we try out a few different players, obviously with next season very much in the sights. So we have Huddard in goal, a back four of Angol, Tizard, Tricker and Winter, Adebayo, McDonnell and Mundell comes back in central midfield after his rest in the previous match. Iqbal stays in attacking midfield. We have Fagan and then Meller, who came in during the season for only his second start as Colehurst drops to the bench. I think the best option we're going to say is arms outstretched, go out there and pick up where they left off. I'm not putting any pressure on this game at all. They have worked absolute wonders this season, and I wouldn't feel right pushing them anymore as they've already won the title. This is their time to enjoy it now, to go out there, enjoy football without the pressure on them that they've had all season, and hopefully get the corresponding result. Well, I can't really complain for them maybe not putting in 100% today, but that was a completely highlightless first half. Maybe let's pump the fists. Credit, the media have given you a lot of credit. Let's go out and give them a second half worthy of that. But even if it ends 0-0, I wouldn't have any complaints about that. Huddard with the goal kick for a first highlight on the episode. Chesterfield though win the ball back, looking to bring it forward with Mayu. With Casey. To Payne, back to Casey. Winter manages to win the ball back, so we manage to come forward now with Mundell, with Iqbal, with a little bit of space in front to run in, and he does. He is pacing forward, looking for Fagan. Fagan with the ball now. Ticks back to Adebayo, to Angol. Can he whip across into the centre? He cannot get past first man, but he manages to win the ball back. Can he get in for the second time? He can. Chip in the centre to Iqbal, who heads it in for just his 3rd goal of the season to put us 1-0 up. Based on the stats so far in this game, we should be ahead already. So it's good to be able to get that goal now. Hopefully that will settle a few nerves in this game, and we'll really push on now, and hopefully give the Boreham Wood faithful a good display in our final home game in the National League. With 72 minutes on the clock, let's make a couple of substitutions. Winter is struggling out there, so let's bring on Daniel for him. Fagan is also not really having a good game, so let's bring on Colehurst up front for a rare appearance for him as the advance forward. What I might even do actually, maybe swap the two over, push Mellor forward as the attacking forward, or maybe even as a 6'1" player. Let's push him as a target man, and we'll save the final substitution in case we need it later on. Right, Chesterfield have a highlight in injury time. We managed to clear it, but only as far as Payne, who looks to try to whip the ball back into the centre again. Iqbal, though, is jockeying, and we managed to get the ball back. Mellor has the ball now, free in space. There was a really bad back pass by the Chesterfield player, but unfortunately Mellor can't take advantage of it. The defenders looked like they were chasing back anyway. But we have another highlight in quick succession. We've had more highlights in injury time than we have in pretty much the rest of the game. Colehurst to Mellor. Mellor with the ball now. Can he do a little bit more than he did in his first opportunity? Puts it through to Colehurst. Brilliant ball through to Colehurst for number 22. I mean, I said in a previous episode that Colehurst hadn't quite hit the heights he did last season. But if you take this season in isolation, 22 goals for any striker in the National League is going to be good. He has been just as prolific, really, with the opportunities that he's had. Has maybe not necessarily had as many opportunities as he did last season. But I think that's it now. We put them to bed. The players do a lap of honour around the field as Boreham Wood fans cheer their champions as we go up into the Football League now. We leave the National League behind, finishing it off with a 2-0 win over Chesterfield, which is definitely a cherry on top of what has been a fantastic cake of a season. Outstretched arms. Well done, lads. Well done for the whole season. I'm sure I'll have an end of season team talk with them where we'll do similar things as well. We finish the season on 96 points, and we, along with one of Notts County, Hartlepool, Wrexham, Dulwich Hamlet, Chelsea and Yeovil will be joining us as well next season. It'll be interesting to see which one of those joins us in the Football League. But with that final game out of the way, it is now time to move on to the season review. And almost immediately we have the Boreham Wood end of season review for the 21-22 season. And we come straight in to look at the transfers in and out from this season. We have had some pretty integral players come in the past 12 months. If we go by appearances, Alfie Lewis, Iqbal, Daniel, Mundell have all played 20 plus games this season. Alfie Lewis was ever present for most of the season, getting 9 goals as well. And a 6.94. I mean, we'll gloss over the average ratings. But even outside of that, we have got some exciting prospects in Tizard. Robson's played a number of games this season. And we've also got players like Mellor, Sol, Banj, Parks, all who have come in throughout the season and all have massive potential and are likely to be first-team players of the near future. But the signing of the season, according to the board, has been Romain Mundell. He gets a B+ because for coming in on such a low wage but having such an impact on the squad. In terms of transfers out, most of these players were players that weren't going to be part of the squad really. Stevens and Murtagh went at the start of the season. Ashmore and Smith both left under a little bit of a cloud in terms of forcing their way out of the club. The only painful one was losing Shamanga when we did. But he went to Plymouth, only played 15 games and only scored 4 goals. Where are Plymouth? Have they just got relegated? They haven't. They were near the bottom. Might see if we can maybe try and bring Shamanga back. I don't know if that's going to be an option, but maybe try and bring him back into the fold if we can. Now moving on to the season review bit itself. So it is definitely a season to remember. As we prepared ourselves into title contention and won the competition. If we look back at the board expectations, we expected to reach a minimum of a playoff. We won the title with an average home attendance of 1,194, with only 26% of stadium capacity. Hopefully we increase that next season. Competition's top scorer was Shaq Colehurst with 19 goals, I guarantee that Fagan wasn't much behind him, and the board confidence A+ for the season. I did also get a Steam achievement during the last episode, which said that the board had 90% plus faith in me, which is really good to see. But I'd like to think so based on the season we've had. In terms of the FA Cup, We were expected to reach the first round. We've actually ended up in the second round as we went out to Coventry City, who are a League Two side. So no problems there at all. Kuyar had scored 3 goals in the competition. Kuyar, who we actually question whether he actually stays at the club. He has a couple of clubs who are in for him or wanting him. And if I'm honest, there are a number of youngsters who could come in his stead, and the board gave us a C+ for that. I'd like to think we could have got a little bit better than that. We definitely reached their minimum, and we did only go out to a League One side, but still happy nonetheless. And in the FA Trophy, we expect to get to the semi-finals. This was the only disappointment of the season, if I'm honest. Went out in the 4th round to Harrogate Town under disappointing circumstances. We get an E for the FA Trophy, which shows really how much the league actually pulls up my general rating and how much weight was put on the league this season. Moments to remember: our biggest win over rivals Bromley, 4-0 win back in October. Absolutely brilliant, a brilliant win that was. I remember that distinctly. Another match to remember was the 3-0 win over Notts County in February, one of our title rivals, and really did push on our run towards the title and secure us at the top of the table. And then goal of the season was Mundell. I guarantee. I think I can almost remember this one now. It was only a couple of weeks ago. That was the goal he scored, screamer from range. But we'll look at that a little bit later on, as it's a little bit difficult to get to it from this panel. Now, if we look at the finances, we're obviously going to expect a boost next season as we go into the league. This season we didn't change in terms of reputation, but hopefully it will change a little bit next season as we go up into the Football League. There is the annual revenue for the season, all in the green, which is all good. Total merchandise sales: we sold £8,000 worth of shirts, £800 to non-domestic sales, 134 shirts sold in all, and you could probably name these players in terms of who best top shirt sellers are. We have Colehurst, Fagan, Iqbal, Lewis, and McKinnon. Surprisingly enough, I presumably because he is a Boreham Wood youngster, and so he's going to garner a little bit of popularity. A little bit disappointed that McDonnell isn't on that list as the captain, especially the title-winning captain. But he was out of the squad for a little period, especially over the Christmas break, and so maybe that's something for him to develop next season, is a bit more affiliation with the fans. Now, in terms of team of the season, this is the best 11 for the season. We have Huddard in goal, a back four of Angol, Fifield, Trekker and Winter, Adebayi, Iqbal and McDonnell in central midfield, Lewis as the attacking midfielder, and Fagan and Colehurst up front. Interesting to see how our formation of the season was the one we switched to in the latter half to be able to try and keep ourselves at the top of the table. That ended up being our best formation of the season. The 4-3-1-2 narrow with the custom fluid counter-attack style. I would definitely agree with that as our best 11 for the season. In terms of accolades, I didn't win any manager awards this season. But in terms of the player awards, Shaq Colehurst unsurprisingly wins Fans Player of the Season. Young Player of the Season is Adam McDonald. Signing of the season, as we already know, was Mundell. Goal of the season was McDonnell. Top scorer, Colehurst. Thomas with the most assists, even though really he was out of the squad once he switched to that 4-3-1-2. Shows how good a season he had at the start. Most Player of the Match awards was again Ken Colehurst, with McDonnell rounding out with the highest average rating. We also do have a couple of record breakers this season. Most clean sheets by Huddard, 23. I doubt we're going to see him change to see the goalkeeper change next season. Worst discipline was Thomas. Shumanga, highest transfer fee received, £73,000. We sold him this season. And the oldest goal scorer was Fifield at 32 years of age. But he will be leaving us this season. And with the average age dropping quite dramatically, it'll be interesting to see if that record is ever broken during this save. So there we have it. Top of the table, National League champions. What a fantastic season we really have had. I will now jump forward to the rest of the inbox awards and inbox notifications for the end of season. So here we have some more end of season notifications. We actually have players inducted into the Boreham Wood overall best 11. So obviously slightly different to the season best 11. This is the overall for the club. So Iqbal was one of 4 players to be inducted into the best 11 after he made 36 appearances, scoring 3 goals, an average rating of 6.99. Fagan, Lewis and Mundell are the other players to be included. So the starting 11 is Huddard in goal, a back 4 of Angol, Fifield, Tricker and Smith. McDonnell and Iqbal in central midfield. Thomas and Kuyar are the wide men, with Colhurst and Shamanga up front, which, if I'm not mistaken, was pretty much the team from last year, and actually I think the team we started with at the beginning of this season. So in terms of the analytical report for the season, in terms of defensiveness, we are quiet and impenetrable, but we are aggressive and wasteful, which would explain a lot in terms of, as I said, our strikers not necessarily scoring as many as they did last season, or at least Colhurst not scoring as many as he did last season. And there were a number of games where we dominated and yet still couldn't get the result we wanted and ended up losing. Luckily not losing too many games this season. A lot of time they were draws. But that is something I definitely need to rectify next season. Right, in terms of, so we've got club vision and expectations meeting. So what is new on this list? So by the end of the next season, they expect us, the board expecting mid-table. Wow, they're not expecting much, are they? Supposed to continue repairing the club's financial damage. I mean, that should be rectified by going into League One, League Two, surely. We'll see how that turns out. And then following that, they want us to work towards reaching the top half of Sky Bet League Two, and then by the end of the 5-year plan, they expect us to reach the League Two playoffs. So even at this early stage, they expect us to become a mainstay in League Two. Other than that, pretty much everything else is the same, so we'll accept that current vision. In terms of the squad dynamics, we did end up with some team leaders by the end of the season. Unfortunately, one of them will be going at the end of the season, Fifield. This will be the 3rd team leader in a row that has now left the club. So we have in influential players Angol, Adebayo and Lewis. All 3, I believe, will be here next season. I'm not sure about Angol. I'll have to double check that. Then in highly influential, we have Colhurst, Huddard, Femi. Femi will be going at the end of the season, I believe. Thomas and Tricker. And then McDonnell and Fifield are the team leaders. So there'll be 1 or 2 leaving from there. But hopefully, at the start of next season, this should, unlike the end of last season, this should look very similar when we start in the Football League. In terms of end of season team meeting, I'm going to say we're good enough not to get involved in relegation battle. Just test the water, see how they feel about that. A little more ambition. Absolutely fine then. We'll say mid-table finish. He can't think of anything to say. I'll just say that's exactly what I was expecting. And I'll say once we return, we can discuss the promises for next season. Excellent. That's out of the way. So that's sending them on their holidays. In terms of the team report for the season, as we can see from here, Huddard will obviously only get better from here. 3-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. He will develop as the season goes on. Angol, now, is he going? He is going at the end of this season, so he'll be going. So left back is a big focus for us because we don't really have anybody in that position. They expect actually Milankovic and Tricker to be our back 2, with Daniel as the right back. And we also have Tizard back there as well, along with a couple of youngsters. And also we've got the 2 18-year-olds coming in June. Adebayo, Mundell and Iqbal. That really is a strong midfield. We've got McDonnell in there as well, who probably would be in there instead of Mundell. Mundell moving out to the wide, then Iqbal and Lewis fighting for the attacking midfield role. And then they expect McKinnon. McKinnon has jumped to a 3-star. That has changed. So he'll definitely be fighting for the first team squad next season. We've got some good options coming at striker. And then Fagan next to him. So that at least gives us a rough idea of where we need to look. If I'm honest, left back is really my only concern. If another player comes up, obviously I'm not going to necessarily turn that down. But I think that we could probably have quite a quiet summer, and I think still do well next season based on the quality we've got in terms of developing players. Right, exciting news. So the board have announced plans to build new seats and standing areas in the ground to raise the total capacity by 1,000. So that will make the capacity 5,500. If I'm honest, we only filled 29% of the stadium this season. Hopefully we'll do that more being in League 2 for the first time. But at least we know we've got some expansion capacity with that as well, which is quite nice. So that will start ASAP. and will in fact be finished by the end of July, so before the end of the pre-season. Right, I thought I'd also quickly have a look at some of the stats from this season, some of the standout players and some of the players that maybe haven't done as well this season as we'd hoped. In terms of appearances, most appearances was Huddard. I think he played every single game this season. I think bar one or two where maybe he was out of the squad for a cup game or two. I think he played almost every single game. He even got an assist in one of the matches. Ben Tricker was behind him with 49. Again, another mainstay this season with a 7.06. 1 goal and then 1 assist. Shaq Colhurst is probably, I presume, going to be a fan favourite at this point. Another fantastic season for him, ending on a 7.01, 39 games played, 22 goals, 7 assists. Alfie Lewis also came into the squad and played really well. 39 games, 9 goals, and a 6.94. Not necessarily maybe the average rating we'd hope from that kind of season. In terms of goals, of course, it's going to be the main guys: Colhurst, Fagan, Lewis. QYR had a few in there while he was in the squad. And Banj, who's another one of our exciting striker prospects, got a hatful as well. And then finally, in terms of assists were shared much more than the goals were, with Thomas, Iqbal, Colhurst getting 7, Fagan, McDonnell and getting 6, Kuyar and Daniel getting 5, and then a few more shared among a few others in the first team squad. And as finally, in terms of who we're losing this season, so in the summer we'll see. So Femi will be going. Kuyar is going to be going as well. Hall, I've decided not to renew the contract. Angol and Fifield all will be leaving. Kuyar is a difficult one because he is being touted for transfer. I might offer him out again to see if we can try and sell him before his contract is up in the summer. But I doubt we're going to get anything for him. He will probably go on a free. So apparently I am on the shortlist for the manager of the season. So let's go in, do our usual. Let's find who had the worst ratio. FC Halifax, Chris Cummins. Where are you, my friend? There we are. Enjoy your vote. And let's see, hopefully, if I can get an award to add to the things we have won this season. So I will quickly jump forward to see if we get the announcement of the Vanarama National League Manager of the Year award. If not, obviously we'll end the episode here, but I'll then cover that when I come back after the transfer window. Well, I think that caps off this season quite nicely. Well, the book closes on season 2. We now go on to the Football League. I haven't mentioned that enough in this episode. If you've enjoyed the video though and the season, please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of that new episode as we play our first game in the Football League. And thank you very much for watching.